Hi everyone. I wanted to take some time to explain some of the details required for the research essay outline. So this PowerPoint summarizes and goes over all of those details that are in the research essay outline template, but just provides a little bit more context and expands on some of the instructions. The requirements for your outline assignment is that you need to complete the template that I have added on Brightspace. So if you go into your Brightspace, the same place where you found this PowerPoint, you can find the document that you need to complete. Please make sure that you go through it and complete all the sections. So there's quite a few things that you need to complete in order to do your assignment. When you are working on your outline, please use point form for your outline. So only full sentences are going to be for your thesis statement and the topic sentences of each paragraph. Otherwise, the rest can be in point form that you can expand on later when you're writing your draft. And you also need to keep in mind that you need to identify at least 2 in-text citations that you're going to use in each body paragraph. So these would be in the form of direct quotes or paraphrases or summaries. And if you remember back from the instructions document posted in week 8, each source you use must be cited at least 2 times. The first step that you need to take with the research outline assignment is to identify your research question. Now, on the instructions document, I gave you your general topic, and I gave you a list of possible narrowed topics. Some of them are written in question format, some of them are not. So you likely already chose your topic when you completed your research article selection task last week. But now is the time for you to take that topic and put it into a question. I ask you to write this as a question because your thesis statement should be an answer to this question. So this will help me when I'm evaluating your outline. When I look at your thesis, if your thesis is not clear, I can go back to your research question to see what did you plan to talk about in your essay. And then if your thesis statement needs some work, I can refer you back to your question. Maybe it's that your question wasn't exactly asking what you wanted to answer, or maybe it's that you might need to revise your thesis. So we're just looking for a simple research question, and it could be something like, what are the benefits of using artificial intelligence in nursing, as an example? The second part of the outline is the actual structure of your essay. So this is where you're going to plan out what you're going to put in your essay. I want to emphasize that this is a plan, and sometimes plans change. So for example, when you are working on your outline, you're going to create a title for your essay, but this is likely going to change, maybe based on what you write about. So what you plan for your essay might be slightly different than what you create in the end. If the essay you create in the end is on an entirely different topic, you will need to complete a new outline. Okay, so if you change your topic after your outline and you're going to do something different, please contact me to make sure that I am aware of this and so that I can see that your outline, you resubmit an outline, not for grades, but you'll need to show me that you created an outline when you submit your final. After you create a working title, something that's descriptive of your essay, of what you think you're going to write in your essay, you're then going to plan out your introduction. So you can write a hook. This can be a complete sentence, something that's going to catch the reader's attention. For the bridge or the background section, you're just going to list in point form maybe 2 or 3 key pieces of information that you plan to include. So this could be definitions, it could be historical information, or any kind of information that contextualizes your topic to narrow it down to where you get to your thesis statement. Just like your title, your thesis statement may change and evolve as you move through the writing process, and that's fine. Give it your best effort to write a full, complete sentence for a thesis statement that shows what your main argument is and previews the subtopics. I will, of course, give you feedback on your thesis statement and let you know if there's any changes that you might need to make. Then when it comes to the body paragraphs, there are 2 body paragraphs that are required for the research essay. And for each of these body paragraphs, you need to write a clear topic sentence that states the main idea of that paragraph, and that should connect back to your thesis statement. And then for each body paragraph in point form, you are going to list maybe 2 or 3 points that you will use to support the main idea of each paragraph. And in this section of your outline, you should indicate what evidence you plan to use in the form of in-text citations. So if you've identified a direct quote or some information that you want to paraphrase or summarize, include that information with the in-text citation in your outline. And then the conclusion section, you're going to list the main points that you want to summarize for your argument, and then write a memorable concluding statement. As you begin to work through your essay, and you may have already started, but as you continue to work through your essay, looking at the outline and beyond, you will be required to complete a progress log. So this is a document that is uploaded on Brightspace where you are going to document each session you spend working on your essay. So this is something that you're going to do that will indicate what work you did and how long you spent doing that activity. This is to ensure that you are not writing all of your essay in one sitting, but you're breaking the work down into several work periods. Even if one work period is 2 hours long and another work period is 30 minutes long, at least it's showing that you're taking some time in between your writing to think about your topic and come back to it with fresh eyes. This will also help to ensure that you are not using unauthorized tools and materials. As a reminder, the use of generative AI is prohibited for all work in this course, so you should not be using generative AI to create any part of your outline or your research essay. This log that I have asked you to complete is a requirement for your research essay. And as outlined in the teaching and learning plan and on the instructions document, you are required to submit this log with your final essay. If you do not submit this alongside your essay, I will not evaluate your essay. So please make sure that both the final essay and the research progress log are uploaded at the time of submission of the essay. That will be in week 11. So each time you do work on your essay, whether it is brainstorming ideas, looking for articles, drafting the actual essay, if you spend some time editing, add an entry into the progress log. You don't have to write a lot of detail. It does not have to be a full long description. It can just be a sentence that just says what you did and what kind of outcome came from that session.